5:43 on today's Real Estate in Mind. We continue our conversation about leasehold properties with Cliff Colvin of Coldwell Banker Pacific Properties. Cliff, good morning. How are you?
Morning, Dan.
Hey, if it's okay, can I just
Please.
recap what we did last time? The conversation, of course, is about leasehold. And we're talking about the definition here where we can see that with leasehold, you own the improvements only, you lease the land from the owner, and lease terms can be fixed or variable, and sometimes that fee is available. You can buy that. But there's two specific examples that you want to talk about today. The first one would be the Waikiki Skyliner. Right?
That's correct. I just want to make sure that when people are looking for property, they don't dismiss leasehold just without consideration, because there are opportunities for a good return on investment and for a good purchase. So one example is the Waikiki Skyliner. This is a property that has a long lease. I think the lease goes until 2058. That's 46 years. And the lease rent on that property, only $28 a month, and it's fixed for the entire term of the lease.
So who would be looking at a property like that?
Well, an investor would look at a property like that, because you want to crunch the numbers and see, what could you get as a return for the rental income that you would get, and you know what your fixed costs are, and you know how long it will go. It doesn't take this leasehold property and make it an appreciating asset, because it will depreciate over time.
But it might provide cash flow for you?
Absolutely, and you crunch the numbers, come up with a capitalization rate, and you can probably do better than we're doing with interest rates in the banks these days.
Okay, now there's a very different property that you also want to use as an example of leasehold, and this one's in a little ritzier part of town.
Well, it's a great property. This is the Kahala Beach Apartments, but it is a lease challenge, let's say. The Kahala Beach is owned by, the land underneath it is owned by Kamehameha Schools, Bishop Estate. They've indicated they don't really have an intention to sell that property. It's surrounded by the Kahala Hotel and the Wailea Country Club. And its lease is due up in 15 years, into 2027. So, and the lease rent for a typical two-bedroom, $2,200 per month.
That's just the lease rent.
That's just the lease rent.
Yep.
But for that cost, you get to live in a pretty wonderful place. So that's more of a lifestyle choice. Maybe the numbers don't crunch as well, but it could. You've got to sit down with someone and figure it out.
So that someone would be an expert realtor who follows these things, like Cliff Colvin.
That's right.
And what it is you're looking, maybe it's investment, maybe it's lifestyle, maybe it doesn't work at all, but it's something you probably want to take a look at with your realtor.
Exactly. Leasehold may not be for everyone, but there is a buyer for every property.
Excellent.
So we'll keep that in mind.
And yeah, thanks for keeping us in the real estate of mind. Cliff Colvin from Coldwell Banker.